Welcome back to Twisted Metal Customs. This episode, you've all been waiting for it. XP RESTO within 40 hours. Minimal money, minimal tools for the everyday person. Stick around and see how it's done. "40 hours, that's what we allocated to this build. We're going to do as much as we can in that time frame, divided up by 10 hours per episode, so 4 episodes, and this is the list we're going to do. Install fuel pump, get running and put in the shed. We got stripped chrome bolt-ons, do the rust repair, sand body, didn't repair, primer, sand and paint. That's in a nutshell what we got to do, and I'll go in obviously more detail when I get to those jobs if you want to learn more about that. This episode we will be playing that game I Spy again with this little mascot. Oop. So I'm going to make it ultra hard because last time was way too quick. So this one's going to be, I believe, going to be really hard, so don't feel like you can find straight away. Alright, there we are, let's get it started. 10 hours on this episode, starting now. So we just got the aftermarket fuel pump, so it gets rid of that glass bowl on the bottom. For anyone doing up a XP or earlier with the glass bowl, pain in the ass to get filters and stuff for. Aftermarket version from the Muscle Car Parts Garage, eBay, $130. So hopefully this one works well, and I'll let you know how it goes if there's anything wrong with it. Alright, so we've got the fuel pump here, some spanners. This is exactly how I left it since last time. Just gotta move this. If you are going to buy one of these aftermarket kits, the fuel hoses are facing the wrong way and they're upside down to what they say to install. So far, I could be wrong, but I'll test it in a minute. Otherwise, they don't fit. So, bit of an update there. Trying to get this hard spool off. I'm going to try to go straight without cracking it. This corner here, see if I can get that straight, otherwise I'll have to do another double flare just by using a ring spanner and something round. I reworked all this pipe to get it roughly where I want it, and yeah, ideally cut a new piece of pipe, use pipe benders, all that sort of jazz, but we're not doing that. We're doing budget build for people like you and me with bugger all tools and can't afford all the good stuff. So okay, that's pretty well where I wanted it, kinda. Sorta. The next one's going to be the pickup. I've got some fuel hose in there. I'm going to cut that to an extra length. Hook up some fuel hose to that. Alrighty, that's taken a lot longer than I expected, but here we have the new fuel pump in, aftermarket. The fuel line's hooked up. Got the clamps on. Got the hard spool fuel line to here. 2 brackets on, and the timing somewhat loose because remember I haven't set the timing yet, but hopefully it should be right where it needs to start. So I'm going to put some fuel in the carby and see if I can get that fuel to prime up into the bowl without any fuel leaks or fires. Oop, there we go. Battery would help. God damn, that scared me. Actually, Let's put some water in it first. Haha. Oh yeah. Guess it was bone dry then, wasn't it? Maybe it's seized. Let's give it a crank and make sure it's not seized. Yeah, we're good. We're good, we're good. There's a giant hole in the bottom of the radiator. It looks like a bunghole. Bunghole. Maybe I can get a bung in it. Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can go find a bung. Okie dokie. Bung fixed, water filled up, but we seem to have a good old water pump leak. That's probably expected for a 40-year-old engine. Oh, older, whatever. It's got a water pump leak. Anyway, in reality, I'd order a new water pump, just like you would. So we're going to top it up with water and still get it running, just to put into the shed to start the restoration. Otherwise, this whole episode is going to be me getting this freaking thing running properly. So we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on restoring this beauty. So I'm going to top that up further and then continue to try to tune it enough so I can drive, put it in that bay, because FJ45 is out, looking beautiful. So we're going to put this one in. Awesome. That took way longer than expected. We're already burnt up 2.5 hours of our 10 hours of this episode. So that's just fantastic, and it's still not even properly fixed. But anyway, it's in the shed. We can start on the other stuff, more important stuff for the paint. I don't know if you heard it as I came in. I don't know, burnout. Look at that. Basically shredding rubber. Raw power, untapped. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty straight, and I'm knackered. 2.5 hours in. See how we go. We'll get there. We've got 7.5 hours left of this episode. So we got it in the shed, and the problem was the float itself was adjusted too far down, so it was stopping the fuel input before I could fill up the bowl, so I was starving essentially. So it's in here now. That's mostly sorted, but I'm not going to muck around with mechanical stuff until the end. The majority of this resto will be cosmetics and functional stuff until the end, until we're good to drive. And so we've done fuel pump, yep, that done. Get running and put in shed, yep, sort of. Okay, next is stripped chrome, and so that was about 3 hours. That one. So we've got stripped chrome and bolt-ons. We're going to do that now. Strip everything off that we don't want painted, and yeah, see if we can get some action on this. So Alright guys, it's been quite a few days since the last recording. I've been ultra busy, got all the projects out here. I've got the cruiser done, my mate's bonnet to do. We'll just finish that, done a giant trailer out there. But we are trying to get a few more hours in on this XP this afternoon. Looks like it's going to rain, so good shed weather. So I'm just going along and pulling all the chrome off. I've done all the other side. I just want to show you, this is the tool, just like a cheap Repco brand trim remover. So you just put that between where you find where the pins are, and I've just been tapping it at the back with a little body hammer and sort of just wedging it in where you think it goes, and just tap it in by wiggling it, work along, and it just sort of pops off. If you're not familiar with the pieces you're taking off, it pays to Google, because I was struggling big time on one of those other ones, and it actually had little acorn nuts on the back, little nuts. So I'm no expert, I'll just figure it out as I go. So I'm gonna continue pulling this off. There's another Falcon badge at the back. Gotta figure out how to take these wipers off, and then I'm just gonna get into sanding, just sanding the whole lot back, probably with 240 grit to really dig down into that old paint. Pick that off, these bumper overrides, this rear tail light chrome. I think we're down to about 6 hours left remaining on this episode. I dare say I'll probably take about 3 up this afternoon. So let's get into it and see how far I can get done. So it'll be, after this episode, it'll be 30 hours remaining. Well, all the chrome that I can get off is off, and as you've seen, I've just done some sanding. It's basically just going to be me sanding for the next 3 hours, I'd say, on this old girl. So it is come up pretty nice. So I'm going to get a close up. See, all those little spots are smooth now. So that's good enough base to put epoxy primer on. As you know, it sticks to just about anything. So epoxy primer on a good base, and then from there I'll do my body work and bogging and whatnot on top of that if I need to, or hammering and dollying out. But yeah, so I can't remember how many hours we're up to. I think I've got about 2 to 3 hours left before the first 10 hours is up. So you can imagine 3 more hours of sanding, and this will be the first episode. I'm actually going back to work next week, so I can't do any more work on this even if I want to. So yeah, this is the first episode. I got pretty caught up with some other jobs this swing, sorry. But yeah, so next break we'll get into finishing the sanding off, epoxy primer, rust repair, and yeah, doing any upgrades. The brakes or anything, or maybe some new spring suspension. Hopefully get a lick of paint on it, and hopefully get a budget daily car ready to go on the road so you can flog around and enjoy it. With a little 6-banger in it. Alrighty, thanks for watching, guys and girls, and stick around, turn your alerts on so you can get notified for the next one that pops up. Episode 2 of this XP, RESTO in 40 hours. Thanks for watching.